I still remember the day I first saw Arya. We were just kids, really, barely teenagers stumbling through the awkward halls of high school. She had this wild, untamed energy about her that drew everyone in like moths to a flame. Me? I was just another moth, hopelessly captivated. Our relationship wasn't exactly a fairy tale from the start. We'd get together, sparks flying, only to crash and burn a few months later. It was always something with Arya, a party I didn't attend, a guy friend I didn't approve of, or just her need for space. But every time we broke up, I'd see her around town, laughing that infectious laugh of hers, and I'd feel my resolve crumble. I'm not proud to admit it, but there were whispers. Friends would pull me aside, their voices low and concerned. "Juan, man, I saw Arya with someone at the club last night," or "Dude, are you sure she's not seeing other people when you're on a break?" I'd brush them off, make excuses. "We're not together right now," I'd say, even as my stomach twisted into knots. But every time we got back together, Arya would look at me with those big, expressive eyes of hers, full of promises and apologies. "It's different this time," one she'd say, her fingers intertwining with mine. "I've changed. We've changed." And like a fool, I believed her. Every single time. It wasn't all bad, though. When things were good between us, they were incredible. Arya had this way of making every moment feel electric. We'd go on spontaneous road trips, windows down, her hair whipping in the wind as she belted out lyrics to some pop song. Or we'd spend lazy Sundays in bed, talking about our dreams, our fears, planning a future that always seemed just out of reach. But beneath it all, there was always this undercurrent of doubt. I'd catch myself checking her phone when she wasn't looking, or feeling a pang of jealousy when she'd mention a new coworker. I hated feeling that way, hated the person I was becoming. But I couldn't shake the suspicion that there was always more to the story with Arya. Looking back, I wonder if I was just too scared to face the truth. It was easier to hope, to believe in the possibility of us, than to confront the reality of who we really were together. But love makes you do crazy things, doesn't it? It makes you overlook red flags, ignore your gut instincts, and hold on to something long past its expiration date. On one day I could see it right away. The second Anthony walked into the room, freshly back from God knows what mission in the Middle East, with a build that seemed even more imposing than before. Something shifted in Arya. He looked different, shorter hair, a sun-kissed tan that screamed of endless desert sun, a presence that commanded attention, and yeah, I'd even say he looked more attractive, if I'm being honest. I noticed how her laughter became a little too loud, how she insisted on getting up to grab an extra beer for him, the way her hand accidentally brushed his arm every other minute. It started small, almost innocent. Or maybe I was convincing myself it was innocent because that was easier to swallow. But it wasn't long before I caught the sideways glances she threw at him when she thought I wasn't looking, or worse, when she didn't even care if I was. I had to fight the bile that rose in my throat every time she made some overtly flirty comment about his muscles or asked in that lilting, teasing tone what being out in the desert was like. Old memories started clawing their way to the surface. Back when we were teenagers, she always had that gleam in her eyes when Anthony was around, even when we were supposed to be an item. I thought we'd moved past that her infatuation with him was just a teenage crush she outgrew. I wanted to believe that once we got married, once we had a daughter together, that we were stronger than all this. But then came my sister's wedding. Maybe it was the mix of alcohol, the love is in the air vibe that hangs over weddings, or maybe it was something that had been brewing under the surface the whole time. Whatever it was, that night something snapped. The whole family was gathered, the reception loud and boisterous. Laughter, clinking glasses, the sound of shoes scraping on the dance floor. I was trying, really trying, to focus on celebrating my sister's big day. But somewhere between the third round of drinks and my cousin's speech, I turned around to find Arya gone. And so was Anthony. It was like a gut punch. I'd been chatting with some relatives, trying to beam with pride, acting like the perfect supportive husband, but now I felt a whirlpool of emotions churning inside me. Everything suddenly became background noise, the music. The laughter, it all faded into the background as that unsettling realization echoed in my head. I found it harder to breathe as the minutes ticked by, the knot in my stomach tightening. Leaving the table, I started looking for them. Maybe they were just outside catching some air. Maybe they were talking innocent, right? But that nagging voice in my head wouldn't shut up. It reminded me of every misstep, every betrayal, every time I let my guard down just for her to stab me in the back. When they finally appeared again, trying to play it off that they had only been outside chatting, my suspicious thoughts solidified into something ugly. I confronted Arya in the car after. I couldn't help myself. I asked, in as calm a voice as I could muster, "Where were you and Anthony?" She rolled her eyes like the question was the most ridiculous thing she'd ever heard. "We were just talking, Juan. It's your sister's wedding. Chill out. You're paranoid." And there it was, the casual dismissal of my concern that she'd mastered over the years. Gaslighting, wasn't that what they call it? Thank you all so much for watching the first part of the video and for your ongoing support. It truly means a lot and keeps me motivated to bring you more quality content. The next part of the video will be uploaded very soon, so keep an eye out. I'm excited to announce that after this, videos will resume with daily updates to keep the content flowing and ensure you always have something new to enjoy. If you haven't already, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you're the first to know when a new video goes live. Your continued support helps the channel grow and allows me to keep creating content for this amazing community. Thanks again, and I can't wait to see you in the next one.